Welcome to the Dear Brother Podcast, everybody. Hit that like button, the subscribe button. Join this community where grown men keep on growing. Let's get into it today, man. We're going to talk about, you know what? You don't need more clarity in life. You know what you need, my brother? You need courage at this point. You don't need more clarity. A lot of times we sit back and we look for clarity. We're trying to see if we're doing the right thing, man. Sometimes you won't know whether it's the right thing, but you need the courage to go forward. This is what I think. You're not stuck. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you're scared to do what you know to do. Let me promise you something, bro. Life is not going to wait for the perfect conditions. It's time to get into it. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Dear Brother podcast community where grown men keep on growing. Listen, man, courage over clarity. Courage over clarity. There's going to be places and stages in your life where you're going to simply need courage over clarity. You're going to have to walk out sometime in the dark. That's part of manhood, bro. It's not a man you're going to talk to in this life that's ever succeeded at anything. It's not a man you respect that you've seen as a celebrity, as an activist, as a father, as a grandfather, whatever men you out here that you respect out here. I guarantee you that at some point in their life they had to choose courage over clarity. You're not always going to see your way. You're not always going to understand what's coming, what's going. You're not always going to understand what the next move is. Sometimes you're going to have to feel your way. And I believe that feeling your way is part of the development of a man. It is. Because how can we lead unless we have to feel our way? Bigger than that, how can we ever trailblaze if we don't know how to feel our way? You're going to have to be courageous, man, whether it's building a relationship, whether it's jumping into a marriage, whether it's raising your kids. What I like to say a lot of times, man, people ask you, you ready to be a dad? You ready to be a husband? You ready to be a CEO? You know what I learned, bro, in life? You're not ready for anything. Because in order to be ready for something, you would have to know exactly what it looks like. No one knows what being a father looks like. For you, you might have saw somebody else do it, but their kid is not your kid. You're not them. So you can't be ready for that. Are you ready for marriage? No. Everything we do, man, is a sense of faith, walking out and learning how to do whatever you're going to do. See, that's the truth of it all, man. And that's why I'm pressing today this courage over clarity. Waiting for clarity, bro. You know what it becomes? A lot of times it becomes an excuse not to make a move. It does. It does. And I know some people might challenge me today and say, "Oh, but you gotta look at it and you gotta analyze it." Yup. After you get done looking at it and analyzing it and doing a 360 of it and getting advice on it, guess what? You still gotta go do it. You still gotta go do it, not knowing whether it's going to work. You still got to do it. You know what the biggest thing is? You got to do it. And the biggest tool, the only tool you have is believing in yourself. No matter what advice somebody gives you, no matter what advice you might get from this podcast, you still got to jump out there and you got to do it on your own. Your biggest breakthrough as a man is not going to happen while you standing there looking. It's going to happen after you leap. That's when your breakthroughs happen. In a lot of my teachings I do at my Dear Brother Live shows, I tell men there's times where you got to jump out the window, man, and build your wings on the way down. I mean, you got to jump out there. This podcast, I jumped out there. I jumped out there, man. Who knows that I would be able to make it work? Nobody knows. When I jumped out here, I was just happy to have 1 subscriber, 2 subscribers. But you know what I had to do? Keep on going, keep on walking through the dark of being a podcaster. I never been a podcaster before. I was a pastor. I was a principal. I was an international speaker. I was a missionary. I was a whole lot of things, right? But I never podcasted before. And all those things I named, guess what? I never did those before I did them. There's some things you're waiting on doing, bro, and you aren't going to know how. There's no rule book with it. There's no guide. There's no guide to courage. Either you're going to have it or you're not going to have it. But I guarantee you one thing, the life that's before you and the life you want to live is worth the leap, bro. It's worth the leap. And again, you got to sometimes build your wings on the way down because you don't know what's going to happen. See, what I've learned, man, is life rewards bold people. It does. There's so many times, man, and some of y'all might experience this. I know I did, where you sit back and watch somebody do something and you know they're not as good as you at doing it, but they succeed and you don't. What's that? What is that? You look and you say, I can do that much better. But you know what they have? Courage. with their uncoordinated self, with their lack of talent. Here you are, all the talent in the world, but they got the guts to go do it. That's the question. Do you have the guts to go get it done? How did they succeed? The guts. They didn't have to be good as you, but they were willing to put themselves out there in times in their life where you weren't willing to put yourself out there in times in your life. Even down to when you were younger, or even now, some of you single guys, you out there, you looking at the most beautiful woman in the world. Hey man, she gonna keep on being the most beautiful woman in the world across the room until you have the guts to go say hello. You hear what I'm saying? That career that you want is going to be sitting over there until you have the guts to go do it. And you got to have the guts to go do it. And sometimes you have the guts to go climb, because there are times where what you want is not even on your level. Does that mean it's not for you? No, it means you're going to have to go to it. It means you're going to have to climb up. It means you're going to have to become a better man, a better husband, a better dad, a better employer, a better employee. Sometimes you just got to get better. And you know what that takes? It takes you to kill your pride to think you got it all together. Bro, again, this is the Dear Brother podcast where grown men keep growing. As much as we have together, there's spaces in your life you still gonna have to get better, bro. And if you don't believe that, you ain't a man yet. you still a young kid, bro. And I don't care how old you are. Sometimes if you still look at yourself like I got it together, can't nobody tell me nothing, can't nobody add nothing to me, man, you ain't grown yet. Because the more grown you get, you start to realize what you lack. See, in your young days, man, that strength, that vigor we all have as young men, man, it makes us say, I can do anything. And that's what you're supposed to be. But the older you get, you realize how much you lack and how much you need to add to your life. Man, my first year of college, I was a philosophy major, secondary education. And my first philosophy class, the teacher took a yardstick and put a pencil, tied a pencil to it. And he went all the way up to the ceiling in his classroom and he put a dot right, at the top. He put a dot there with on the ceiling. And he said, I want everybody to look up. Whole class look up. Whole class look up at the ceiling. He said, all right, now I want one of y'all to find the dot. Right? You could not see this dot, bro. He said, surely I put it up there and now somebody find it. Man, people looking, people getting out their seats to look, and nobody can see the dot. He said, now, I don't want anybody to tell me I didn't make the dot. I made the dot. It's up there. And then everybody sat down, kind of like, man, can't nobody see the dot. Everybody finally gave up on looking for the dot. And he said, that's how much you know about the world. In fact, that's how much you know about anything. He said, it's hard to see that small dot in this big, giant ceiling we have here. And you know what that was? It was a tool to humble us all, to say, open your heart and open your ear. And that's the same thing I'm asking you to do today. That's the same thing I'm asking the community to do today. Open your heart, open your ear, open your capability, and sometimes look at and be okay with looking at what you're not capable of, so you can get there. See, not seeing what you're capable of doesn't mean you're not capable of anything. Staring at what you're incapable of says, okay, what do I have to do to transition myself in a space where I can make this happen? The biggest idol, I think the worst idol to men, especially, is certainty. I know y'all gonna be like, boy, brother tripping today. Certainty? No, everybody want to be certain. But okay, what are you certain about? If you so certain, what are you certain about? Go in the comments and tell me what you're so certain about. You're not. You're not. You're not certain about anything. After I get off this podcast, man, I got to pick up my daughter. I'm not certain I'll make it back home. Right? Not that I got to go through a violent town and none of that. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that you're not certain. The only thing you're certain of is this moment right here. That's the question. What you gonna do with it? That's what we always end the podcast. Yesterday was history. Tomorrow's a mystery. All you got is right now. What you gonna do about it? Right now, you listening to this podcast. You know what should be going through your mind? My words should be on one side of your head, and on your other side of your head, you should be saying, what am I going to do with what I'm hearing right now? Because that's manhood, right? Don't idolize this. It's a false idol. Certainty is a false idol. It's not real, right? So when you think something is absolutely certain or seeking something to be certain, you know what that really is? You're not seeking for certainty because you can't find it. You're afraid. You're afraid. You're afraid that what you think should happen might not happen, bro. Listen, you know how many things in my life I thought should have happened? I put the work in. I made the moves I had to make. I did everything I was supposed to do. It didn't work out, right? Nobody gets married to get a divorce. It didn't work out, right? Have been through divorce. Some of you have too. It didn't work out. You didn't get married saying, okay, I'm gonna get divorced in 4 or 5 years, man. No, nobody does that. Nobody does that. I'm being healthy, bro. This is my beet juice, my green apples, ginger. Look, some of y'all that got blood pressure issues and all kinds of stuff. I'm a kidney transplant patient, bro. I gotta take care of my body. Ain't nothing like juicing, bro. This the medicine you really need. Put that stuff, put them pills away if you can, bro. I got off blood pressure medicine juicing. I'm telling you, my blood pressure, I was on 2 blood pressure medicines, dropped it all the way down to under normal. I think I checked my blood pressure was like 117 over 75 from juicing, bro. You could do it. Anyway, but certainly don't worship your comfort zones. Don't worship your comfort zones. We get into a place where we feel comfortable and it's cool. I'm not saying comfort ain't good, but comfort can become your enemy when you know there's something on the other side of this. Don't let comfort become your enemy. Comfort is fine when you're resting for the next level. But when you know something's calling you forward, something's calling you up, something's calling you out, don't let your comfort zone, don't let your comfort zone become something you worship. You worship just because you feel good. Because sometimes feeling good, man, you'll comfort yourself right into a place where you're stuck forever. You know, um, one thing that's big in our lives, man, as men, is faith. It's faith. I ain't say religion. I said faith. I said faith, bro. In faith that guess what? You got 5 senses, right? Let me see if I can remember them all. Touch, taste, sight. I think hearing is one of them. See, I knew I shouldn't have tried. Y'all got it. But faith is the 6th sense that I like to say. Faith is what I can't see, and I can't touch, and I can't hear, and I can't taste. Right? Faith goes beyond. It goes to the next level where nothing, I can't perceive it, but I still believe. Every man needs that, man. Because life will get in your way and make you feel like you can't see nothing. Nothing's there for you. Nothing. You can't touch nothing. Right? Faith is not just belief. No, faith is not just belief, man. It's, you know what it is? It's, I'm gonna move towards something even though I can't see it. I'm going to take the mental, social, emotional risk. Oh man. You want to talk about manhood? Let's talk about risks. Let's talk about risks, bros. Let's talk about risks. Let's talk about taking the risk to go into spaces that you sometimes never dreamed you would go. But the door is open. You're going to take the risk? I'm going to risk how other people will feel. I'm going to risk what other people think. I'm going to risk how they look at me, right? I'm a risk. Everything you take, everything you are going to go forward, you're going to take a risk. Guess what else? You also going to make a sacrifice. Any transition in your life, you're going to take a risk. You also going to take a sacrifice to do it. You got to leap to build. You got to leap to build, man. Um, uh, a big issue we also have is we want to control everything. That's why sometimes we can't do the faith. We can't do the faith walk because we want to control everything. One of the greatest things I ever did in my life was let go of control. It stops you from arguing, right? Some of y'all that's married in a relationship, it'll help you out if you stop trying to control everything. Sometimes you got to let stuff go so it can come back to you like a boomerang. Let go what you say. You just say what you got to say. I ain't gonna argue my point. If you're a leader, don't argue your point. Life gonna show people you was right. You keep your blood pressure down, not only with juicing, you keep your blood pressure down because you ain't stressing out. You say what you got to say, you let it go. You don't need to control everything. You can't control everything. That's why control is a myth. In fact, go look at one of my podcasts. I think it's called The Illusion of Control. No such thing, bro. What can you control? It might feel good to say I'm in control, but what are you really in control of? Right? You're not in control of anything. You're not in control of anything. You know what you got to learn to do? Cope. You got to learn to cope. Right? So what happens is, man, at the end of the day, you got to work on your courage. Because courage means that I'm trusting what I see, and I'm trusting what I see in myself, and I'm trusting what I don't see coming, but I feel it. That's big, bro. It's big if you're gonna go anywhere in life. You know what a word all men hate? Surrender. Surrender. Yeah, surrender. But surrender is the key to going forward. Surrender is not weakness, bro. Surrender is power. You know, a lot of jails was full with men that couldn't surrender. I ain't talking about surrendering to the cops. I'm talking about surrendering to your own will, what you think is right, what you're calling right when it's wrong. Surrender is not weakness. Surrender is being able to look around and say, you know what, this is the right thing to do. I'm gonna surrender to this. That's not weakness. That's full manhood. I'm gonna tell you, you don't even know you a man that you could look at something and say, you know what, let me bow out. Let me bow out. Right? A lot of men out here hurt themselves, man, because they can't find it in them to bow out, bro. Bow out. A lot of men have lost everything. They couldn't bow out, couldn't find it in themselves. Right? So let me end like this, man. I think one of the most important things that I found in my life, and when I counsel men, I do coaching for men, bro. Go on christianwinners.com. You can sign up for one-on-one coaching if you're looking for some help, bro. Looking to navigate life, looking to navigate relationship, career. Go on to christianwinners.com, man. I think it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, I believe. But go to christianwinners.com. We do some counseling and coaching there, bro. But readiness. We got to redefine what ready means. We talked about it a little early. Ready for what? Ready doesn't mean comfortable. Ready means willing, right? Most of the time, man, what you need is you need willingness, right? What are you really ready for? Sometimes you got to move while you're uncertain. Willingness. So sometimes you got to do it scared, bro. Sometimes you got to do it while you're alone. Sometimes you got to do it while you're crying. But whatever's before you is worth taking the leap. Hey, bro, I love you. Make sure you love you. Stand tall and walk this life out with no fear, no shame, and no compromise every day, bro. If you need help, you got this community. That's why we here. It ain't about me. I'm nobody's guru. I'm a man who been through hell and made it back. So I figure our podcast to strengthen my brothers on their road. Hey, man, staying tall. Let's end this podcast like we do every single one. Yesterday is history, and tomorrow's a mystery. All you got is right now. What you going to do with it? What you going to do about it? Hey, man, go grab this book. I got this book on Amazon. You need to go get it today. Home Where Hurt Men Heal. Home Where Hurt Men Heal. It's available to you right now on Amazon, man. Go check it out. Go pick it up. Go pick it up. This was a life-changing book. I wrote this book, man, after I lost everything. In fact, during the time, I didn't even have to make a comeback. I didn't make my comeback yet. I wrote this right in the midst of what I was going through, homeless and sleeping in a car. I picked up this phone right here and I start writing this book, Home Where Hurt Men Heal. I wrote it. I ain't had no computer. I ain't have nothing, bro. I lost everything I had, right? Not because of a bad move, because it was time for me to transition. And look, everything closed down. And I was wondering what in the world? Everything I depended on was gone, right? But you know what I found? You know what I found when I lost everything? I found me. Go get that book, man. I got a surprise for y'all. June 1st, the new one's coming out. Dear Brother, the blueprint to becoming the man of your own dreams, bro. It's available June 1st, man. I'm going to drop it in June. June 1st. It's going to be on Amazon. Dear Brother, the blueprint to becoming the man of your own dreams. This is like I wrote a book. It's also a workbook inside of it. So you can work through, man. 31 days. You work on yourself, guaranteeing yourself some healing, man. Go get this book. Go check it out, bro. And if somebody else is looking for help right now, you ain't got to wait for Amazon. You ain't got to wait for no shipping. Removing the shame is right. It's my new ebook on my website, christianwinners.com. Go grab the ebook today, bro. I believe it's on sale for like $9. Go check out that book. Hey, man, you matter. Know that you matter, bro. Stand tall. Until the next time, yo, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Most of all, hit that share with other men who you know need this podcast, man. Until the next time, you guys mean the world to me. Peace, and I'm out.